What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more r/AmITheButtHole. And if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Don't forget about our Halloween competition that we got going on over on our Discord. Link is down in the description. Come get involved in that too. Let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. And our first story comes from Maximum Somewhere 281, titled Am I the Arsehole for Ruining My Brother's Wedding? My 20 female brother, Nate, 28 male, is going to get married to his fiancée, Emily, 32 female, in a week. I was extremely close to my brother growing up. He's my favourite out of all of my siblings. However, when he started dating Emily, we kindly grew apart but still talk often. Emily, on the other hand, we don't get along at all. She hasn't done anything to me, I haven't done anything to her, we just don't see eye to eye on things. They're having a child-free wedding, but in Emily's eyes, a child is anyone under 21 years old. I know, dumbass rule. Originally, I wasn't allowed to be there for the ceremony or reception. I told Nate how much it would hurt not to be there for his big day, so he ended up convincing Emily to let me stay for the ceremony. We had a family dinner earlier this week, and Emily brought up that she would like to have a daycare service for the children of her guests at the wedding, and somehow she mentioned that she would love for me and my boyfriend, 20 male, to look after the kids. My boyfriend and I love children. We're actually studying to become a teacher and a pediatrician. We were on board with it until we heard that we'd be watching 40-ish kids for 6 hours, and only get paid $50 each. We agreed that we'd do it for $150 each, but Emily insisted on her original offer, and then Nate got involved, saying he told Emily that we'd be happy to watch the children and it would save them a lot of money, and how it's too late for them to find a different sitter. The more I refused, the angrier Emily got. She proceeded to tell me that I was being a greedy, selfish brat, and that I should be paying her since she'd be giving me practice for my teaching career, and then said that if I don't do this, I will ruin her wedding and won't be welcome at the ceremony. At this point, the dinner's ruined. My boyfriend's uncomfortable, I'm pissed, and the entire restaurant is staring at our table because Emily's practically screaming. We paid for our food and went home. Now here's where I may be an arsehole. I honestly don't care about babysitting. In fact, I would probably do it for free. My entire family knows this. That's why they're so mad at me right now. My phone has been blowing up all evening, telling me that I should want to do anything that will make my brother's wedding perfect, and I'm being a childish arsehole. Sure, it sucks, so I'll probably not be at the wedding, but I'm sick of Emily being a bitch to me. I feel bad for putting Nate in this position, and I hope this doesn't ruin our relationship too much, but it is what it is. I know I'm kind of childish about this, however, I do not think I'm being an arsehole. So what do you guys think? Am I the arsehole for ruining my brother's wedding, and potentially our relationship? It almost felt like the whole rule of child-free was almost just so you couldn't come, the fact that, anyone below the age of 21 can't come. It just felt like it was targeted at you the whole time, which may be completely wrong, but there's clearly got something against you here. And let's put it this way, you're not old enough to go to the wedding, but you're apparently old enough to look after 40 kids. What the hell, man? Absolutely not the arsehole in this situation to me. You didn't ruin the wedding at all. She's doing it herself. But Little Bean on Wheels says not the arsehole. What the fuck? They don't want you to attend the wedding, but you're allowed to work it. If she thinks 21 is a child, tell her it's irresponsible to have a child in charge of 40 other children and decline. Emergency Yard 6009 says, so you, a 20-year-old, can't attend your brother's wedding because it's child-free, but you have to babysit 40 kids and do it practically for free. Because Nate, who you're close to, told his fiancée you would without checking with you. And now your family is insisting you're ruining the wedding because you refused. 1. Nate is an arse. His fiancée is being absolutely a brat to his sister and he's doing nothing to stop it. If his wedding is ruined, they're the cause, not you. 2. It would appear that Nate is not as close as you think. It would appear that Nate is not as close to you as you think. 3. It's bad enough that they volunteered you. How dare they plan your boyfriend's time for him too? 4. The fact that they're pushing despite your refusal is a sign they're bigger arseholes than we initially thought. Don't back down, OP. Begin as you mean to go along with Emily. If you give in now, you'll end up being the de facto doormat/sitter. Tell Nate you're sorry to miss his wedding, but you'll be there for his next. Not the arsehole. Firefly232 says not the arsehole, and I think you and your boyfriend need to decline the invitation to the wedding, both the ceremony and reception. make plans to be elsewhere, and quotes, "In Emily's eyes, a child is anyone under 21 years old. I know, dumbass rule. Originally, I wasn't allowed to be there for the ceremony or reception." And then says, "Remind people that Emily tried to ban you as you were under 21. At that point, you could have planned to go away. What would have happened then? They'd have to get alternative babysitters. She didn't want you and now you're not going, so why is she complaining? Throw this back in your family's face every single time. They were happy for you to be excluded originally, apart from your brother. They have no grounds to complain. Edit to add, surprising you by telling you you're providing childcare for the wedding 2 weeks before the wedding is not okay either. That's not well prepared on their part. And also, Nate is not showering himself with glory here. He said he volunteered you, but never mentioned this to you. Metal Devil says not the arsehole, and you probably don't get along with Emily because she seems exceedingly entitled and ungrateful. It's not about the money though, it's a matter of safety. 40 kids, and I'm guessing the ages vary wildly, is not feasible for 2 adults across 6+ hours. This isn't within the context of a classroom or an athletic team. And shame on all the parents for bringing kids with them when they knew they couldn't attend and without making arrangements. Is the drinking age only rule weird? Yeah. Does Emily sound unbearable? Yes. Is your family only interested in berating you into being free childcare because it directly benefits them? Yes. I'd skip the wedding and go to a spa with your SO. It's absolutely horseshit that your brother had to convince his future spouse to let you attend when you're 20. What the fuck? And one more comment from All About a Bird who says, not the arsehole. This whole situation is ridiculous. Excluding the 20-year-old sibling of the groom because a wedding is child-free is ridiculous. Expecting you to do really hard work for almost no money while you're being excluded is ridiculous. Stick to your guns now, because this is the kind of person who will push boundaries forever if you don't. Now, what do you guys think of this one? I was blown away by the whole child's can't go under 21. That's absolutely insane. But like one of the comments said as well, it's a big safety issue. 40-ish children between 2 adults. And I mean, unless you're keeping them caged, it's going to be really difficult to keep an eye on all of them, surely. But what do you guys make of this one? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next one. And our next story comes from A Wandering Rainbow, titled, "Am I the arsehole for not sharing the role of mum and Mother's Day with my kid's stepmom? I have 2 kids, age 11 female and 9 male. Ex and I were young parents and broke up the day our son was born. He married his wife Kate when our kids were 4 and 2. It's been a wild ride. When Ex first married Kate, he filed to change our custody plan to 50-50, which wasn't possible before because he worked as a truck driver and was away a lot. He wanted the kids at his house with Kate, even if he wasn't going to be there. The judge rejected it and the custody remained in place for another 2 years until he left that job, so he could have more time with the kids. Then custody went to 50-50. Ex and Kate have always referred to her as Mum Kate. The kids call her Kate. When custody went to 50-50, Ex asked me to split Mother's Day with them so the kids could celebrate with both mums equally. I said no. I got Mother's Day just like he got Father's Day. It caused some tension, but I had the court order to back me up. There has been some tension and drama over how the kids refer to Kate, their relationship with her versus their relationship with me, and how I have never accepted shared mum role with Kate. The truth is, I have always felt like she is a secondary to me and my ex, still an active part of their lives, still has her opinions and requests, but that Ex and I are the ones who should be dealing with the nitty-gritty stuff. I found out that 6 weeks ago that Ex asked the kids twice to ask me to let them go to his house for half of Mother's Day. It came up when my son told me Dad asked them to tell me we needed to talk about Kate being their mum. He asked me what I wanted them to tell their dad. I said nothing. I would talk to Dad, they didn't need to. He then told me he was surprised they said anything since they obviously never asked to go there for Mother's Day, and how he always waited for them to say they hadn't done it either time. I told him not to drag our kids into it. He told me I was being unfair, that Kate has been around long enough to be seen as their mum too, especially as the mother to their other siblings, and how I need to start treating her as such. It got worse when 2 weeks ago my daughter was sick and she had the school call me instead of Kate. It was Ex's parenting time, and Kate should have been the first call technically, but my daughter asked the school nurse to call me. When I called Ex after taking my daughter home, things blew up because he was pissed my daughter asked that I be called, and also pissed when our daughter didn't want to go with Kate when she arrived to pick her up. They are saying I have poisoned the kids against Kate by not encouraging them to love and treat her the same as me, and because I've refused to give up the role as sole mum and share the role with the other woman who is also their mother. It has become a very tense dispute because I don't see what I have done as wrong, but I guess what they are saying bothers me enough to wonder, am I the arsehole? Now to me in this one, it just feels like they themselves are poisoning their relationship with the children because they're trying to force it. They're trying to force the children to say mum, and it's totally up to them whether they want to use that language or not. And what jumped out to me was just a reverse situation of the whole Mother's Day thing. He wants you to give up half your Mother's Day. And imagine if you got a partner, you turned around to him and said, can you give up half your Father's Day? I'm sure he'd feel just as you do in this situation. So I'm going to say not the arsehole 100% to me on this. Dan says, not the arsehole. You're not sharing the role of mum. You are their mum. She is their stepmum. She doesn't have the same parenting rights, same relationship, same anything as you, and she shouldn't. It sounds like your ex wants to replace you with her. It doesn't work like that. He needs to get over it, and if Kate has biological children, she should understand how fair their treatment of you is. And Intelligent Help says, not the arsehole. Your ex-husband is trying to force something that is causing the opposite effect. He's going to end up making your kids resent Kate if they don't already. I don't know if Kate is pushing to have a more motherly role in their lives, but it's not her place if she is. My guess is she wants children of her own and your ex doesn't want any more, so he's using your kids to satisfy Kate's maternal desire. Interesting there. Nevertheless says, not the arsehole whatsoever. Your ex and his wife are doing a great job of poisoning them against her by forcing it. If you had a new male partner, I doubt he would be fine being replaced as dad. And she Stammy says, not the arsehole, just say this. I understand you and Kate are upset, but I'm not insisting the children do anything. Maybe you should do research, best practice advice for bonding with stepkids and follow that. I highly doubt it has anything to do with forcing a motherly role on children they don't want. Goodbye. And one more from Disney Girl who says she is their stepmom. You are the actual mum. While they can celebrate her, it needs to be on another day. She is not another mum. She is a stepmom. If your ex had a heart attack and died, she wouldn't even be a stepmom anymore. She would have zero rights to your kids. Not the arsehole. Now, what do you guys make of this one? What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below and we'll move on to the next story. And our next story comes from Party Time, Am I the Arsehole? Am I the arsehole for leaving my sick wife at home to attend a party? My brother and sister-in-law threw a housewarming party a couple of days ago. It's been planned for a few weeks and my wife and I were planning on attending. Since they live about an hour away from us, we had asked my mother-in-law to watch our 2-year-old son so we could enjoy the party and crash at my brother's place. Well, Saturday morning comes along and my wife wakes up with a nasty head cold. No fever or cough, just a lot of nasal pressure and sneezing. She's not sure she wants to go to the party anymore. I feel fine and make sure to check temperatures of me and our son, and we are both okay. Wife, mother-in-law and I are all vaccinated. Mother-in-law is already at our place and tells me she's looking forward to spending time with her grandson and has a lot of activities planned. I ask my wife if she wants to take some meds and still attend the party, and she says she'd rather stay in bed. I ask her if I can get her anything and she says no. So I start to get myself ready to go. By the time I'm ready, my wife is asleep again, so I tell mother-in-law that I am leaving. I make sure she has everything she needs for our son, and she pretty much tells me to go have fun and she's got this. So I get to my brother's place and start enjoying myself. A few hours after I arrive, my wife starts texting me, asking me when I'm coming home. I tell her that I've already had a few drinks and was planning on staying over like we had planned before. She told me that I should stop drinking and sober up so that I can be home that night since she isn't feeling well. I ended up calling her rather than texting her and asked her why she felt I needed to come home. She said she feels bad about mother-in-law watching her son while she's sick and I should come home to help her out. I told her that I wouldn't even feel comfortable driving for at least 2 hours, then the hour drive home, and by the time I get back our son would already be getting ready for bed anyway. She just says whatever, have fun, and hangs up. So that's what I do. I enjoy myself the rest of the night and crash at my brother's place. I get up in the morning, grab a coffee and hit the road, and I'm home around 9 AM. My wife is still asleep so I leave her be. Mother-in-law and son are just finishing breakfast and mother-in-law wants to hang out for a bit, so we go for a walk. When we get back, my wife is finally out of bed and she's still pissed at me. She tells me I was a jerk for leaving without talking to her and a jerk for not stopping drinking and coming home. I told her it wasn't my fault she got sick and couldn't go. I told her it seems like she's using me as a target for frustration because she couldn't go. My wife kept making comments about me not coming home the night before, so I asked her what her problem is. She said I should have stayed home completely after finding out she was sick, and she's pissed I prioritised having fun over taking care of our family. Am I really the arsehole here? But Coastal Cruelian says, you're the arsehole. You do realise you can have and spread whatever illness your wife has, even if you don't have symptoms, right? It's been all over the news that asymptomatic people spread viruses. It sucks that you're so cavalier about that. Solstice 105 says, not the arsehole. Her mum was there. She had everything she needed, including care for your child. I get she didn't get good, but it isn't like you left her alone with a kid. I really don't see what's wrong with what you did. Asparagus says, you're the arsehole. It was fine to go to the party as originally planned, but you didn't have to stay there and get wrecked knowing your wife was sick at home. I'm recording some comments saying about in sickness and in health. To which Doing Good replies to that one saying, I disagree entirely. The wife had a head cold. She wasn't in bed with COVID gasping for breath. In fact, she slept through the day and didn't even wake up by the time he got home because he was responsible. It would have been worse to drink and drove, and he was going to his brother's housewarming party. That is a fairly big event for some people, even if it's mainly just small talk and having a few beers with friends. The mum more than had it covered and the wife is fine. This was not a medical emergency. Absolutely, unequivocally, not the arsehole. You are adults and do not have to do everything together. She was resting as she wanted to, and you were there with your brother and now you're home. You have your whole lives together. It's very controlling to want you to stay home because she is. And one more from there for the comments who says, you're the arsehole. Checking your temperature was supposed to accomplish what exactly? You were probably still exposed to whatever she has and exposed everyone at the party too. So you're an arsehole for that. And I mean, yeah, you left your sick wife and refused to come home. Hope the party was worth it. Now there's a mixed selection of comments just there. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below and we'll move on to the next story. Now our next story comes from Good Something Potato, titled, Am I the arsehole for telling my teen she can't go to a dance because I need her to babysit and she's my only option? My kids are Bindi 17, Ava 14 and Fritz 9. I'll cut right to the problem. My sisters and I are going for an overnight trip late this month. With my older sister's work schedule, the only time we can go for the foreseeable future is the 29th. This has been planned for several weeks. Bindi announced to me this week that her school is doing a Halloween dance on the 29th. She was so excited and was excitedly planning her costume. I hated to burst her bubble, but I had to tell her she can't go. You see, Fritz is severely autistic. Exactly what you're probably thinking. He's non-verbal, no eye contact, no toilet training, that sort of thing. This makes him much more difficult to leave with someone than his sisters ever were. I could easily find a sitter for them when they were younger. The only people who even take Fritz outside of our household are his grandparents, who cannot watch him that weekend. He also does well with Bindi, meaning she is literally our only option. Bindi didn't take it well and asked me why Ava can't watch him for a few hours while she sat at the dance, since Ava has babysat before. Well, Ava is having surgery that Monday before that. Nothing major, but she is not going to be healed up enough to deal with one of her brother's meltdowns by Friday. I'm not saying that would happen, but it's always a possibility with him. She can help, but someone else needs to be there, and that someone else is going to have to be Bindi. She responded by saying she didn't realise her siblings were so much more important and went up to her room scowling. I've tried knocking and calling her, but she keeps sending me straight to voicemail. I get that she's upset and was really looking forward to this dance. It's only for juniors and seniors, and school didn't have it last year thanks to COVID. But I'm going to need her to make a small sacrifice for the family right now. I fully intend to make it up to her, but does expecting her to be there for family make me the arsehole? ETA, Dad died when Fritz was a baby. Besides my younger sister, who will be going on the trip, my family all live in another state. Now, before we even break down the story, these children are your responsibility. No one else's, not Bindi's. She deserves to go on her dance, but when we look at this further, you're leaving a non-verbal 9-year-old, a child that's just come out of surgery with only a week recovery time, and then you're leaving a 17-year-old to basically care for them both. What the hell? But all out of F says one kid special needs, one kid just had surgery, and you're going out of town. In what world are you not the arsehole? You're the arsehole. And sure, mum says you're the arsehole. You are leaving a 17-year-old overnight with non-verbal 9-year-old and a young teen recovering from surgery for an unnecessary fun trip for yourself. Ridiculous. I could see if you needed to work or had an emergency yourself, but you just want to have a girls' weekend and want to do it in the most irresponsible way possible. There isn't a be there for family situation. You've had weeks to procure a reliable adult babysitter with healthcare experience for the 2 kids that need someone with healthcare experience and have chosen not to. Chlorochimer says, you're the arsehole. Stop parentifying your children. Your son is your responsibility, not your daughter's. You need to cancel your trip with your sister until you can find more appropriate carer for your son. Jeep Naked says, you're the arsehole. She's going to be gone at 18. I also want to point out that you're choosing your fun over hers. Audrey says, so you have planned this trip for several weeks and assumed all this time that your daughter would be available. This sub has seen this type of problem so many times, it is not normally sympathetic to your situation. You're the arsehole. And Sneaky Squirrel says, you're the arsehole. Forget the dance for a second. You're telling us that Bindi is the only person who can care for Fritz on this particular weekend. That means she has no emergency backup, no one to help if something goes wrong. All of her family members are hours away, and you're leaving her with not just Fritz but a second child who is recovering from surgery. What happens if something goes wrong? My dog sitter requires a local emergency contact in case something happens. You are not even showing your daughter that much courtesy, and she's dealing with much more challenging situation. You can't go away when all possible backup babysitters for your son are unavailable. You can't go away when your daughter is recovering from surgery. All 3 of your kids deserve better than this. Now, let me know what you think of this story and we shall move on to the next one. And our next story comes from Spooky Mansion 3, titled, Am I the Arsehole for reacting negatively when my husband handed me my birthday gift? My female 25 birthday was 2 days ago. I was excited to see what my husband, male 33, got me. I got him an expensive belt for his birthday 10 months ago, but he didn't like it, although it was on his wish list for so long. He said he just preferred to receive an iPhone or an Xbox. He said after I already gifted him the belt 2 days later, because he didn't talk about it till 2 days. On my birthday we had a celebration with family. After they left I asked my husband if he's gotten any gifts, and he asked me to follow him to the bedroom, and I did. He opened the bottom closet where he keeps the stuff he doesn't use but doesn't want to get rid of, and pulled out the belt I got him for his birthday. I was stunned. His face had no expression, he just handed me the belt and said he's been keeping this for months and decided to give it me on my birthday, since he couldn't get anything else, and since he had no use for it, so he figured that I would/might. I tried to process what he just did and ended up blowing up at him, asking if he was joking with me. He remained calm as I questioned how he could have thought gifting me the item I bought for him, which was a belt, would be a good idea. I called him disrespectful, that his gift was thoughtless and he was being rude and dismissive of my feelings on my birthday. He argued that a gift is a gift and I shouldn't have reacted negatively, then complained when he does the same, since he never wanted the belt but couldn't throw it away, so he figured it was best he give it back to me and I get to do with it whatever I wanted, since he didn't want it. We had a huge fight about this and he stormed outside. I felt so upset and like I was humiliated by receiving the same gift I gave him, just because he didn't like it. We haven't been talking till now. He says I'm being too controlling and demanding. So let me get this, the dude was holding on to this gift, building up all this resentment because you got him something which, was on his wish list, but he didn't really want it. He wanted an iPhone or Xbox or whatever, but he saved this for 10 months to give back to you in some sort of petty revenge kind of way. And I can only think there's something more deeper than this. Just the fact that he'd act this way just over a birthday gift that he didn't want. He built up that resentment for such a long time, then to give it back to you like with just a pan face and you're just like, yeah, that's your gift. Kind of like, yeah, screw you kind of thing. Absolutely not the arsehole, but I would certainly be looking into this one a bit deeper if I was you. But JiffyFly6 says not the arsehole. You got him a gift from his wish list and he didn't like it and held a grudge about it for almost a year to pull this little stunt. Oof, this marriage isn't gonna last. Rays Underwater says, not the arsehole, your husband has some serious aggression issues. Your marriage won't survive without couples counselling. He didn't appreciate a gift given with good intentions from something on a gift list and devalued the love behind the giving. He stored up his anger for 10 months. He punished you by withholding your gift. He thinks his deliberate unkindness is equivalent to your loving but unwelcome gift. He lies about his motive. He refused to have a genuine conversation about his motives and your foreseeable feelings. He minimizes the validity of your reaction, which he planned. Therapy or divorce. That's some cold spite right there. Edit to add, your husband has narcissistic personality traits. He's unlikely to change because it works for him, so have a backup in mind. Scorpio Girl 70 says, not the arsehole, are you sure your husband is 33 because he acts like he's 13? You got him something he had asked for and then he pouted about it because it wasn't an electronic toy. Then hold on to it for 10 months so he could re-gift it to you for your birthday. That is petty ass, passive aggressive bull poop. For Christmas, hand him divorce papers. Anchovy Mac and Cheese says, let's see, so your husband intentionally hurt your feelings on your birthday, then has the audacity to call you demanding and controlling when you stand up for yourself. Not the arsehole, I can't even see the man through the red flags. Does he generally treat you like a punching bag in the relationship or only on special occasions? Disney Girl says, okay, this is beyond normal behavior. He showed no emotion when he gave you the belt. Is there a history of mental disorder in the family? Have there been any indications of hatred leading up to this? Was the belt actually on his wish list, or did you accidentally pick a secondary wish item? Be very careful how you handle this because, as I have said, this is not normal behavior. Seek medical counsel, not the arsehole. Now, what do you guys make of this story? What is your thoughts on all of today's stories and your verdicts if you choose to share them? A huge thank you for spending 20 to 30 minutes with me today and getting involved with the channel. It means the absolute world and I can never express that enough. Honestly, thank you so much. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.